crazy.
Same to me.
Yeah. Played Osaka and Nagoya, and those shows were great. I think they reminded us of why we loved coming here so much. It's the first 2 days, I think we were in Japan. We were kind of just out and about and shopping and kind of taking it all in, and then the third day I was like, oh, this is why we're actually here. Not to do tourist stuff, but to actually play a show. And I mean, we had a blast. The kids are great, you know, and I think they've been waiting just as long to see us as we have been them, and you know, it was a fantastic show.
Look alive, sunshine. 109 in the sky, but the pigs won't quit. You're here with me, Dr. Death-defying. I'll be your surgeon, your proctor, your helicopter, bumping out the slaughtermatic sounds to keep you live. A system failure for the masses, antimatter for the
Nana is one of the first songs that we wrote for the second coming, I guess, of Danger Days. It's one of those songs that I guess reinvigorated the band, and I guess it was, you know, the first time we had heard back what we wanted the record to sound like. First song we wrote, it felt like it was the first track for the record anyway, and it's always been track one, and it's one of my favorite songs to play too.
With Danger Days, I don't feel like we're playing parts at all, and that's what's really exciting. I think that's what's made the shows really exciting as well, is because we get to be the band again. It's just a different incarnation of the band, but it's the band that maybe we had hoped we could always show people.
Every record that you do, you're nervous, you know, but you have to be. If you're not nervous, then something's wrong, you know. Then you're just rehashing the same stuff. You're releasing the same record at that point if you're not nervous. You know, it's just like when you play shows. Every time we play shows, I mean, we've played how many shows now? Hundreds, thousands, you know, maybe 1,000 shows, and I still get nervous every time. You know, I think if those butterflies went away, something, you know, I wouldn't enjoy it as much. We've been a band now for 10 years, and I remember the first tour, you know, for this record, came over to the UK, and you had said at the show, like, raise your hand if this is your first Mike M show, and half the crowd raised their hands, but the other half were like, you know, kids that had grown with us for 10 years, and it feels like this great relationship where, like, the older kids or like older siblings or friends are passing down these CDs to the younger fans, and they found out about it, and it's such a great, you know, landscape of ages. It's I can't believe it.
Yeah, our fans really, you know, they embrace change and evolution as much as we do, which is really great.
I think they get something out of My Chem that maybe they don't get anywhere else, and I think they're very much a part of the narrative that we're creating, really, with our lives. Like, going out and doing this, they're a part of that. They're a piece of that, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've always felt at times it's very much theirs as it is ours, or it's nobody's at all. So I think, actually, I like to think about it more like nobody has ownership over this. It's just a thing that happens, and one day it won't, you know.
Oh, thank you so much. Cubic mouth. Yeah.
One of the things I took note of the other night in Osaka, you know, and I saw this in the UK too when we were over there, was just how happy everybody was to see us. That's it. They just wanted to see us doing our thing, and I like to think seeing us happy doing our thing, and that's it. But every face in that audience was just happy and just psyched to be there. It's awesome.
They dance different too. Like the pogoing is different.
Chanting during the
chanting
songs.
is, they find a different rhythm here, which is really interesting than they find in Europe. They find two different rhythms to the songs.
And they're extremely quiet between songs here.
But yeah, definitely between songs, it is a little weird to see them as animated as they are during the songs, and then going down to like nothing. That's a little funny. I forgot about that when we came over here. It kind of took me by surprise. I was like, oh man, they don't like us.
Yeah, the first time was in 2004.
Yeah,
we didn't expect it, but then we grew to really love it.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it's like very respectful, or I don't know. It's just a different energy.
This record is really informed by the modern world and kind of everything that's going on right now, be it for like reality stars and fame, and the fact that anybody could be famous, and the fact that, you know, there's kids like playing video games and getting really high kill scores and stuff, and it's just kind of all about that, and the way that we're speaking is becoming shorter and shorter and more abbreviated. Those things really informed Danger Days. So yeah, I'd absolutely say there was times where I felt like there was a video game going on, you know. I also feel like nobody could kind of die in this world we created. You just get respawned or something. The title really just came from something that was said, and it's when we realized we were retracking the record. I turned to Mikey and I said, "Danger Days, here we come again," you know. And I don't know why I said that, but it just always felt like the real title of the record. You know, the second part was to just, the True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys really just adds color. I think it makes you feel like the world that we've created, not the characters per se, but that there's a world going on in this record, which there is, and it's a very real world, talking about very real things that are happening right now. There was this group of songs written in succession, and it was basically Nana, and then it was Vampire Money, and then it was Planetary, and then it was Sing. So those songs are really all important because, you know, after we finished those songs, we realized we, in fact, were retracking an album. And that, I guess, kind of lessened the blow because we knew we were onto something really great at that point.
It was unlike anything we had heard before, and unlike anything we had played before. And even writing those songs was a different process. So at that point, we knew we had reached something new, and we liked it. You know, we really, really liked it. We thought, you know, these could be some of the greatest songs we've ever written.
Shibuya? Yeah. Busiest intersection in the world.
Yeah.
Man,
It's so different.
yeah, it's unlike anywhere else in the entire world.
Like no matter where you go, you can always compare a place to something back home, but this place, not really.
Yeah.
From a design sense, you know, it always struck me growing up reading comics from Japan or seeing movies, and I don't know, there is a very Japanese feeling to this album. Like even the figurehead of the corporation, it feels very Japanese, and the colors, the fact that you get guns out of vending machines, things like that.
Commerce, right?
Yeah, commerce.
We're keeping a low profile. Just seeing the sights, enjoying it. You know, I think one of the greatest things about here isn't just like how different things are, but it's the people. You know, the people are just so respectful and nice and creative and humble, and it's really this crazy sense of like they know that you don't understand, so they're gonna go out of their way to help you understand, and it's all about life experience, I guess.
Well, it's weird. I mean, we all grew up in towns really close to each other. The three of Gerard, Mike,
Within a
and
couple miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all from Belleville, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And then he's from Kearney.
Yeah, he was over the river. And, I mean, you guys, of course, they were born together in the same house. And when did you meet Ray?
We had a mutual...
During art school. Yeah, we had a mutual friend.
friend.
And he was playing guitar in a band. I think it really feels like every time I met any of you guys was in a club. It was either in the Pipeline,
like a Pipeline or
Loop Lounge.
Yeah, it was in some kind of rock club where everything was very underground. Like, you know, there was no big bands coming through and playing, and there was always this energy of like who's doing something creative or who's starting a band or what does it sound like, and you know, you'd see these bands kind of come and go, and just wanted to start a band and called Ray, and then called Mikey. We had done a demo, and then called Frank. You know, Frank was in another band that was very instrumental in helping us in the beginning. Well, first it started really with Iron Maiden being a big influence, and me and Mikey shared music, and then from there I discovered punk, and I moved into the Misfits, and then after that, like, a friend gave us a Smiths record, and that was the beginning of discovering all this great British music, you know, and right around that time also discovering Blur and Pulp and bands like that. So Britpop was really big, and also bands like Lush, bands that were maybe not Britpop but around the surface area of it.
Every day, there's like 1,000 new bands that start up, and sometimes you hear bands and you're just like, wow, like this is really great. Like, you know, I'm glad that, you know, this is happening right now. Nowadays, like, it feels like we've taken these old songs and kind of reimagined what they would be like if we had written them now, you know, and I think that's a real fun part of these shows, or at least this tour too, is like you're getting to see songs that you've heard before or loved before in a new way, you know. these songs stand alone as well, and it's great to see, like, when you play like an old song, say like we did Sorrows the other night, you know, and then butt it up against something like Sing. It's like, it's crazy. It almost feels like a completely different band, but there's still these elements in it that you can see that progression, you can feel that progression, you know, to that point. That's why I think the live shows are so much fun, and they're just like, it's like a moment in time. You'll never see the same show twice, and these songs are evolving in a live sense. They're almost like living and breathing. I don't know what the next record is going to sound like, what it's going to be, but I do know it's going to be different, and I like that I have no idea what it's going to sound like. You know?
Yeah, anytime we try to guess what turn we're going to take, you know, it always winds up surprising us, you know, and so it's kind of exciting. It's as exciting for us as it is for probably a My Chemical Romance fan.
You know, as long as it stays fun and we keep surprising ourselves, there's no reason to stop. You know, that's some of the best parts about, you know, writing and being in this band, is that we're constantly trying to, like, you know, impress each other with music and art. You know, and these three guys are like my toughest critics. Like, I strive to impress them. You know,
We've had a really amazing life, you know, and I guess it was nice to stop for a little while because we got to look at it and then come back to it. Now I'm realizing how much of an amazing life it is and was, you know. So we're just so lucky. Like, we've gotten to open for amazing bands and play in stadiums and stuff that a basement band should never be doing, you know.
I remember there was a moment in the middle of Times Square on New Year's after we had just played and the ball's dropping. We're standing there and I was like, what the hell just happened? What are we doing here? And I mean, you know, there's definitely like what the fuck moments, and those are the greatest. When you just turn to everybody, you don't even need to say it sometimes. You just kind of all give each other that eye, and you're like,
that happens a lot. You just look to each other and just know you're in one of those moments where
Yeah,
you're
it's
just
like
wow.
it's like that the movie Truman Show. You always think somebody's gonna like unzip the wall and be like, ah. But yeah, a lot of those.
If we weren't friends and doing this, it would be so impure that it would just be lame to watch and lame to listen to.